Hello everybody, Ryugozara here. I know it's been a very long time and it's practically almost the end of the month, but I figured I would finally get to making videos. I've been having a little bit of a hard time with trying to figure out what to do, and I've been trying a lot of new stuff out. I've also just been thinking about the new patch coming up, but I figured I would finally do videos now that I kind of have a good idea of what I want to show you guys. And we're going to be starting this week off with a TvP build. Specifically, it's going to be a mech TvP build. I've personally been doing mech a lot more in TvP, specifically on like Kairos Junction, King's Cove, and Thunderbird, mostly Thunderbird, because I just think, apart from being fun, it can be good if you hit certain timings. See, before the mindset I had with mech in TvP was you had two options. You would either use mech to kind of like turtle up into BCs, right? To where you would then just, mass BCs and try to kill your opponent in the late game. Or the new style that I've been trying and having quite a bit of success with is just hitting really sharp 1-1 timings, where the idea is you try to get +1/+1 attack and max out around like 9 or 930 with your mech army and do a well-executed push. Sorry. Most notably, the build I'm going to be doing here today is going to be a replication of the build we saw in Maru vs. Super Game 1 on the very same map in GSL. Because my sounds are in Korean, I'm probably going to have them muted and just kind of do commentary. If you guys don't mind having the sound on, you can let me know. But for now, the build opens up Reaper Fast Expand with a Rax first. That is 16 Rax, 16 gas. And this is a 3cc build into mech. Probably want to do an 18 scout or a 19 scout. 17 scout isn't really necessary, but if you feel comfortable doing it, you totally can. And as always, because we're against the easy AI, we're just going to leave our Reaper just over there because we're focusing on the macro aspect of the build. So we're going to go Reaper, Marine, similar to the old-fashioned. We're not doing like Reaper Reactor with this build, though maybe in a future build we will. And we're gonna go ahead and throw down a tech lab immediately after this Marine. Shocking. Usually you would throw down a reactor, but with this build we're actually gonna go for a tech lab. Now with this build, it is also gonna go into Banshees, however, you do have the option to go Ravens. You go one Raven as opposed to two Banshees and Cloaks, so you have like an extra 100 gas. I haven't tried going single Raven too much, but there's no reason really not to. However, I guess the reason against it is it's less kind of like scouting, because your Banshee does ultimately get across the map and see stuff for you. And the other thing is the Banshee kind of lines up with the timing better. So now you're going to make a Cyclone and another Marine right away, and you're just going to kind of keep making workers. And at about 320, so this worker coming out here, you're just going to grab it, you're going to drag it all the way to the bottom. You want to hide the CC, and we're going to get the CC a little bit earlier, and we're just going to drop it right there. And we're going to go and start a starport with this next SCV, a Tech Lab, and then our next Cyclone. And we're just going to have our Marines out here with the Cyclone. And we're going to make up to 3 Cyclones, so we're also going to remake these depots real quick. So you can see as this third SCV gets down, we can make a depot. And we can put them up there because immediately after this depot, we will be making a bunker. And we're going to leave this tech lab on the barracks for just a little bit. And we're just going to kind of like look around. Make sure you always have your camera hotkeys set at the start of the game. I like to use roughly 5 camera hotkeys. And I just like to rotate around them while I'm doing stuff. Okay, we're going to lift up these 2 buildings and swap them around. We're going to go ahead and throw down our bunker. We're going to make one more Cyclone, start Cloak up, another Blind Marine, and immediately after Cloak has started, at like 410, we're going to throw down like double gas here. And some of these timings may look faster than the ones in Maru's game if you watch that VOD, and part of the reason for that is because he kind of made a couple cancellation mistakes with his units. Mainly he cancelled his tech lab for a reactor because he made it a reactor initially and then kind of swapped it up last minute. So now that our bunker is finished, we're just going to put our Marines in here. And now that we have 3 Cyclones, we can start making tanks. And ultimately, your goal with this build, if you want to be successful, is you want to try and deny as much scouting as you can, right? So we're now just going to make workers. We're going to go ahead and land our 3rd CC, of course. Make one more Banshee. And we're going to go ahead and take 2 depots here. And we're going to go ahead and throw down 2 factories, 1 here and 1 here. And we're going to go ahead and start a reactor on that barracks. We're just going to siege the tank somewhat over here. Our depots are a little bit late, that's okay. We're going to start rallying our units down here. And just keep making tanks one at a time. At this point, you can salvage the bunker, because we're going to remake another bunker right here. And the reason we do this is because we want to kind of like wall off this area on this map. I should note that the build I'm doing, I feel, is very map specific. Of course, when you have your Banshees, you can go and harass, but we're against the AI, so we're not going to put too much time into worrying about those. We're going to go ahead and throw down 1 gas, 2 gas, bunker, eBay at about 6 minutes. We're going to throw these factories on. And immediately after these factories are put on, you're going to go ahead and start your double eBay. Next, we're going to go ahead and start 2 Hellions and 2 tanks. From here, we're just going to be trying to pump out as many siege tanks as we can. And remember to keep constantly making depots. Grab your gases. Banshees are under threat, so we're just going to move them out of the way. Go ahead and move these armory SCVs over there, because immediately after they're done making their armories, we're going to go ahead and get 2 more factories. You want to constantly be making depots here. And go ahead and put this guy over here. After the bunker's done at about 6:30, you're going to throw down a Fort CC. Reminder to keep making siege tanks here and just kind of like sitting back and chilling. And we're just going to go ahead and get ready to start +1/+1 up. And we're going to keep track of our SCVs because we only want to go up to 70 here. So now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and throw down factory number 4 and factory number 5. And we're going to go ahead and start Megfield and Blue Flame as we can. You can go ahead and take these units out if you want. After this next cycle of tanks, we're going to go ahead and also actually just throw down 2 more Cyclones. Because at this point, we want to kind of be a little bit mobile with our army. And reposition your tanks as you'd like. If you're floating extra money, like here, you can throw down, like, say, missile turret, you know, more missile turrets here, really. Just figure out ways to, like, spend your money, because at this point, we're just going to be making factory units, right? We're going to go ahead and start more workers. We're going to go up to 74 here. And after these 2 SCVs are done, you're going to do reactor tech lab. Then you're going to do 3 more factories. So 1 factory, 2 factory, and the SCV will be finishing here. 3 more factories for a total of 8 factories then. Add-on, more siege tanks. We're going to go ahead and land this 4th base. We can keep track of our SCVs here. We're going to go ahead and get another thing here, more siege tanks. And we can just bring our units down here, you know? And again, keep track of your 111, because our push should happen as this is this upgrade is finishing. We have more minerals, so we can quickly drop 4 turrets, more Hellions. Grab our units here, Cyclones and Hellions. We can just kind of poke and prod a little bit. We can take our gas geysers, we can start another base. We're going to go and start Tech Lab here. Swap these add-ons here. And just kind of transfer our workers over. You can see we are a little bit supply capped, so we actually forgot to be making depots, which is pretty big on our part, so we can improve our macro on that side. And you may say, well, how are we going to push at 930 if we're not even like close to maxed? Assuming you did do the macro right here, you'll just see your supply is just kind of starting to inflate, because you can see we missed quite a few unit cycles here. So, you know, don't get supply capped. Kind of an issue I've always had, but you gotta just kind of practice it if you want to get around it. The trick is to not shift queue your workers back to mining like I do. That'll be the easiest way to remind you. So now, at 9 minutes, we would have actually tried to move out, and we would have wanted to try and break these rocks here and siege right over here at the 10-minute mark. Now, as you move out at 9 minutes, your next rally up of units is going to be with the Cyclones, and you're going to kind of cut Hellion production for a bit. And this is because, assuming you were making just pure tank, you should have more than enough tanks, really, to kind of just push through here. So you can see we're kind of getting ready. We can take our next base. We can expand right here. And we can just say, siege some units here, morph to Hellbats, siege some units here, kill the Protoss 4th base, right? Afterwards. We can start our +2/+2. We can go 2 starports, fusion core. And we can just kind of move up from here. We can kill that cyclone because we're kind of odd on supply. And we can start making extra CCs with our money. And this is really just the build. Your ideal timing, again, to hit is 9 minutes and 30 seconds with a maxed out 1-1 mech army. For more reference, if you really need, this is a build I've been practicing a lot. Obviously, I didn't do a great example here, but I would highly recommend watching the Maru versus Super game. I thought it was, for one, a really amazing game. I think just watching really any pro VOD is just always useful. So I like to do 1 reactor, 2 tech lab, and then after that, you can do 2 more starports. We're gonna just throw them down here because we have more room. And the reason we do the starports like this is because we're trying to like transition into BCs, right? So you can also see we have the fusion core. We can get lib range and try to go into that first. But ultimately, we're still gonna want to go into, you know, BCs or like mass liberator. So we're just gonna chill our units here just as we do like the max out for a little bit. Again, you can throw down more CCs. You can take your gases over there. Again, if you're floating money in any matchup really for StarCraft 2, the best way to just kind of utilize it is to either tech up or throw down, you know, just more production. Typically, teching up is the better option. However, if you don't know what to tech into, then like just choosing to expand your production can be a good choice as well. I actually had one person I'm currently coaching right now ask me for guidance, and my method too is like if you ever want to just figure out what to tech into, take a look at their army. So for an example, let's say you're playing Bio and you see they are very Colossus dependent. You can make the decision on your own to say, maybe I can go into Heavy Viking because that would be pretty powerful against them since their main DPS comes from Colossus. You want to kind of just ask yourself a lot of these questions because these will ultimately like just kind of help you develop your game sense and just general feel and understanding for the game. Anyways, that's the build. You can kind of see how I do the macro behind this. Behind this, we can maybe throw down again another 3 starports if you really, really wanted and had the money to. From there, we're just mass expanding, try to get as much gas as we can, and going into BCs or range liberators and throwing down all this stuff. Anyways, just end the game here. That's the build. Thank you for watching.